students, our today's topic is structure of ovule and development of female gametophyte. But before coming to this topic, we must know what is gynoecium. If you remember, in our first lecture, we have studied different floral whorls, that is calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. That means this gynoecium, it is a floral whorl or it is the last floral whorl, and number wise it is fourth floral whorl. Also this is innermost floral whorl. As androecium is male reproductive part, similarly the gynoecium is female reproductive part of the flower. And each member of gynoecium, it is called as carpel or it is also called as megasporophyll. This is the diagram of a single carpel which shows three parts, that is stigma, style and ovary. The upper red color part, this is called as stigma and this is the only visible part. Starting from this point up to this point, this is called as style, and the lower part, this is called as ovary. Now inside the ovary, these are the ovules. That means ovules are present inside the ovary. The arrangement of ovules inside the ovary, this is called as placentation. What is placentation? Placentation can be defined as arrangement of ovules inside the ovary. There are four types of placentation, that is axial placentation, marginal placentation, parietal and basal placentation. All these we have studied in 11th standard itself. Now, depending upon the number of ovules, they may be uniovulate or they may be multiovulate. Uniovulate means when only one ovule is present, then it is called as uniovulate, and example of uniovulate is mango. When many ovules are present, then it is called as multiovulate, and the example of multiovulate is tomato. Depending upon the arrangement of carpels, the flower can be apocarpous or syncarpous. Apocarpous flower means when many carpels are present but the carpels are free from each other, then that type of flower it is called as apocarpous flower. In syncarpous flower also there are many carpels but the carpels are fused with each other, and such type of flower it is called as syncarpous flower. So this is all about gynoecium. Now we'll see the structure of ovule. This is the diagram of a single ovule, and this ovule it is called as anatropous ovule. Anatropous ovule, it is the characteristic of angiosperms. Basically there are two types of ovule. One is called as orthotropous ovule and the other one is called as anatropous ovule. So this is orthotropous ovule. It looks like this, and this is anatropous ovule. The basic difference between orthotropous and anatropous is, first we'll see the orthotropous ovule. The orthotropous ovule, it is also called as straight ovule. Why it is called as straight ovule? Because this micropyle, chalaza and funicle all are in a straight line, and the micropyle is directed upwards. So this is about orthotropous ovule. And then comes anatropous ovule. Anatropous ovule, it is also called as inverted ovule, and in this type of ovule the micropylar end and funicle, these are present close to each other or they lie adjacent to each other, and the micropyle, it is directed downwards. So these are the basic differences between anatropous ovule and orthotropous ovule. This was just for your information. We are mainly concerned with anatropous ovule. As I have already said, anatropous ovule is the characteristic of angiosperms. And now we have to study different parts of the ovule. Basically, the ovule is mainly divided into two parts. One is called as the stalk of the ovule, and this larger part, this is called as body of the ovule. But these are not the only two parts, there are many parts, and now we'll study one by one different parts of the ovule. So what are the different parts of the ovule? The first part of the ovule, it is called as funicle. Simultaneously, we'll see all these parts in the diagram also. See this part of the ovule, this is called as funicle or funiculus, or it is also called as stalk of the ovule. With the help of funicle, the ovule is attached to the placenta of the ovary. So funicle, it helps in the attachment of ovule to the ovary. Now comes the second part of the ovule. The second part of the ovule is called as hilum. Where it is present in the diagram? See this point where the two lines are meeting or where the two lines are joining. This point, it is called as hilum. With the help of this part, the funicle is attached to the body of the ovule. Then comes the next part of the ovule. The third part of the ovule, it is called as nucellus. Nucellus, it forms the centralmost part of the ovule. So the entire central part of the ovule, this is called as nucellus. I have labeled it here, nucellus. Now this nucellus, it consists of diploid parenchymatous cells, and from these parenchymatous cells, development of female gametophyte will take place. Then the next part of ovule it is called as integuments. Integuments, these are the protective coverings of the ovule. So these are the integuments. This one, which is present on the outer side, this is called as outer integument. The one which is present on the inner side, this is called as inner integument. Same on the other side also. This is outer integument and this is inner integument. When two integuments are present, then such type of ovule, it is called as bitegmic ovule. And when only one integument is present, then such type of ovule is called as unitegmic ovule. Bitegmic ovule is the characteristic of angiosperms. Then comes the next part. The next part of the ovule, it is called as micropyle. Micropyle is nothing but a small or narrow opening which is present between the integuments. End of the ovule where micropyle is present is called as micropylar end. The most important function of micropyle is during fertilization, the pollen tube carrying male gamete enters through the micropyle. Then the next part of the ovule, it is called as chalaza. This is the next part of the ovule. See, exactly opposite to micropyle, this part. This is called as chalaza. So chalaza, it is present at the base of the ovule. From chalaza, the integument arises and the end of the ovule where chalaza is present is called as chalazal end. And now comes the last part of the ovule, and the last part of the ovule is called as embryo sac. This is embryo sac. It is oval and multicellular structure which is embedded in the nucellus. As we have already said, The development of female gametophyte, it takes place from the diploid parenchymatous cells of nucellus. So these all are the different parts of the anatropous ovule. Now we'll see the development of female gametophyte. The development of female gametophyte, it takes place in the nucellus. So this part, it is nucellus, and these are the diploid parenchymatous cells that are present in the nucellus. The development of female gametophyte takes place from these cells. Now during development of female gametophyte, one of the diploid parenchymatous cells present towards micropyle, it acts as megaspore mother cell, and this megaspore mother cell, it undergoes meiosis to produce the haploid megaspores. Formation of the haploid megaspores from diploid megaspore mother cell is called as megasporogenesis. The haploid megaspores are 4 in number and are arranged in a straight line, hence the megaspores are said to be linear and tetrad. Out of 4 megaspores, the upper 3 megaspores, they degenerate, and only the lower megaspores, it remains functional, and this megaspore, it will act as functional megaspore. This functional megaspore, it is also called as the first cell of female gametophyte. The next change that will take place is the functional megaspore, it undergoes enlargement, that is, it increases in size. And now this enlarged megaspore, it undergoes 3 successive free nuclear mitotic divisions. At the end of first mitosis, 2 nuclei will be formed. At the end of second mitosis, 4 nuclei will be formed. And at the end of third mitosis, 8 nuclei will be formed. So this is called as 8 nuclei structure. Now one nucleus from each pole, it migrates towards the center, and these central nuclei are called as polar nuclei. Now this structure, it undergoes cellular organization. So this final structure, it is called as female gametophyte, or it is also called as embryo sac. Now this female gametophyte, it is also called as 7-celled 8-nucleate structure. Now how it is called as 7-celled 8-nucleate structure? If we count the number of cells, the upper 3 cells and the lower 3 cells becomes 6 in number, plus the central cell, it forms 7 cells. And how come 8 nuclei? The upper 3 cells contains 1 nucleus, lower 3 cells contains 1 nucleus, the central cell, it contains 2 nuclei. So the number of nuclei becomes 8. Hence it is called as 7-celled 8-nucleate structure. Now we'll see the different cells that are present in the female gametophyte. A group of 3 cells which is present towards chalazal end, it is called as antipodal cells. Now these antipodal cells, they do not have any specific role in the process of reproduction, hence they get degenerated. The central cell, which is called as secondary nucleus, after fertilization, it gets transformed into endosperm. And a group of 3 cells which is present towards the micropyle, it is called as egg apparatus. The central large cell, it is called as egg or female gamete, and these 2 cells, these are called as synergid cells. The synergid cells shows hair-like projections called as filiform apparatus, which guides the pollen tube towards the egg during the process of fertilization. The development of female gametophyte, it is called as monosporic and endosporic. Now why it is called as monosporic? Because the development of female gametophyte, takes place from a single megaspore, hence called monosporic. And why it is called as endosporic? Because the development of female gametophyte, it takes place within the megaspore or inside the megaspore, hence the development is called as endosporic. So this is all about the development of female gametophyte.